Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a build for you. This is of course a tiny home. It is the tier 2, so I believe it ends up being about 60 tiles if I'm not mistaken. I really like how it turned out. I'm not much of a builder, I have to admit. I really don't ever have the desire to build, but of course with this pack coming out, I definitely wanted to give it a try. As far as micro home, I don't know if I could. I just don't know about that. That's a little bit too small for me. So I started with a tiny home. I'm building in Strangerville, which is definitely one of my favorite worlds. And I went for definitely more of a modern look, but still pretty colorful and fun. I definitely struggle here with shaping the house. Like I said, I'm not much of a builder, so I really don't have a lot of practice. I do like to furnish homes, but I normally just download them off the gallery and kind of change them to how I want them to be. I never really build from scratch, so this was a little bit of a challenge. I definitely struggle here for a moment, but I eventually get something that kind of works. I definitely envisioned this being for like a mom and a dad and their son, whether it be a teenager or a child, but I think I was going for a teenager because I put like a guitar in his room and different things that I guess a teen would probably use more than a child. But yeah, or I guess it could be like a couple and maybe a roommate. You could do it that way, but pretty much they kind of have their own space. Of course, the couple or the mom and dad are going to be in the living room, so they don't have a whole lot of privacy, but somehow it kind of works in a way. Or I mean, I guess it could be also one sim and they just have friends over that kind of crash on the couch. It's really up to you. So now that I've got the basic shape of the house, I start placing down furniture so I can kind of see how everything's going to lay out and how I can fit everything in. I've got the counters and the fridge down. I also use this table from Dine Out. Ideally, it's going to be like a prep station, even though they can't use it as such, but I do put bar stools down too, so then they can of course eat there. And for windows, I end up using these windows from Discover University, and I think they work pretty well with the ones from Moschino, so I like how that turned out in the end. In the kitchen here, I was placing these counters from Silva Dorada or from Jungle Adventure, and I was trying to use the cabinets that come with the pack, but I noticed pretty quick that they don't actually match. The colors are not similar. I mean, they're kind of similar, but they're definitely not the same tone, and I don't know if that's like new, like something new, but I've never noticed it, so yeah, that kind of sucked. So I went with these white cabinets instead, but I think they look okay, and it kind of brightens up the space. On the outside here, I definitely wanted to use this wood tone paneling. I think it's from Bowling Lane stuff. I really like how it looks with this pack. It definitely goes with the aesthetic, and I put it in this really pretty blue color. Blue is kind of the theme for at least, well actually yeah, even for the bathroom too. It plays a pretty big part in this home as far as the color scheme. But I really like how the outside turned out here. I'm not good at roofs, like I really am not, so I kept it very, very simple. Also, I like this blue tile that I put on top of the home, but I end up going for a more neutral color just because, I don't know, for some reason I didn't like how it turned out. So I went a little more neutral with that. But I definitely was going for like a sandstone vibe, and then the blue wood. I think it all goes really well together, and then I wanted to brighten it up and like make a contrast with the white, the columns, and then the trim around the roof. And then I also thought about doing this little lattice above the windows, but I ended up not liking how it looked, so I just deleted that. So moving on into the bathroom, I actually take the sink that I know I'm going to use, and I pick which swatch, oh, sorry that was hard to say, which swatch I want to use, and I kind of base the whole bathroom off of that, and I pick the wallpaper accordingly. I really love this like sky blue tile that I placed down. And then I get the open shower from Discover University, and I know I want to use that. So I'm kind of playing around with it here. I don't want it to be fully open, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. But I end up kind of moving around the door And I think I place it on the angle there, and I do keep it pretty open. The toilet's right there, so it is kind of odd, but with a tiny home, I think you kind of make sacrifices and you can't be too picky, I guess, with you know, where everything's at, but it works in the end, and I think it looks pretty good. I also use these columns to kind of separate the spaces in the bathroom to just kind of almost make it seem like it's a little bit bigger or a little bit more open. I really love the decor that came with this pack, especially this little shelf here in the bathroom. Also the shelf in the kitchen is super cute. But I think these items are so versatile and will work in so many different homes that you can build, because they can almost look rustic or modern. I really like them. But yeah, I'm just kind of cluttering up the bathroom and decorating it. And I do add, you know, some of the pictures that came with the pack. I really love those. They're also very versatile. I think that might be what is the best part of this pack, is that a lot of these items are so versatile. Like, you know, they are stylized, but they're not super stylized where you can't use them in most homes, I guess. Oh, and this planner is so cute. I probably use it in, I definitely use it here, and then I think also in the, by the front door. But I love that. I love the rug, and I do love this console table that I placed down. Right now I've got the poof, but I do place this one down, and I love it so much. I seriously have used it in every room in this house, and there's only 3 rooms, so yeah, that's that's crazy, but it just works so well, and it's not as bulky, I think, as like the normal ones we have or all the other ones we have, so I do appreciate that. I also try to mess around with like a shower curtain or something for the shower, but it doesn't end up working out. So if you guys prefer that, you can always add one in, but I wasn't sure how to do that. So yeah, it's kind of all open like I was saying. So now we're moving on into the living room, and I'm trying to decide what kind of colors I want to choose for this room, and I go with that like pink mauve color. I really like it. And then of course I want this TV stand. I love it. It's so cool. And I think it is, yeah, it's the 3-in-1. So it has the TV, the bookshelf, and the radio, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm just kind of decorating and getting a feel for this room. It is kind of an awkward space just with that angle. So I'm like trying to put in a table there, and then I realize we have the table in the kitchen, so we don't really need more than one. And I kind of just play around with that. Then I kind of give up actually in the living room, and I go back to the kitchen and kind of add to that. And I do love the dark blue brick I put behind the counters. I think it looks really nice, and it kind of matches the outside too, that same blue. And then I work on by the front door, and I love that little table with the indent in it, the circular one. It's so perfect for like a front door area, because I can just imagine coming home and like throwing your mail on the table and your keys and just like heading into the house. So yeah, I'm really liking this pack so far. I definitely like all the buy mode items. They're really cute and definitely my style. I will also say that it makes me want to build for like the first time in a while. I haven't built much in The Sims 4 at all, really. It's not that I don't like to, it's just I'm more of like gameplay, or I spend more time in cast, I guess, than I would in like build mode or buy mode, but I do like to furnish. So I think it's just like constructing the home that like I really have an issue with. I don't know, it's just hard for me, but maybe I'll, you know, practice on it a little bit more and try it out a little bit more, because this was actually really fun to build, I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed it. I think tiny homes are of course easier because there's not as much space to occupy, so I did enjoy that for sure. But I will say the cast, I do like the cast, I do, but I'm not like super wowed by it, I guess. I think we always need more sweaters and more clothing for like cold weather. Also, I really love the men's clothes in this pack, probably even more than the females. So I really like all the sweaters, and I do think they work on older Sims as well, which I know is something we're always needing. So I do appreciate that quite a bit. And I love actually the milk braids are so cute. I love those. I'm gonna use those a lot. And I know we can always use more jewelry and glasses, so I was surprised to actually see we had some more, and I'm very happy about that too. It's always good to have more options. back to the build, I actually want to talk about this. So this little corner here, I decided to make like a magnetic like storage area. So I used this wallpaper from Strangerville, and I put all these, like, they look like they would be magnetic or, you know, metal. So they're on that and they are all hanging out there. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I think it's really good to utilize like vertical space on the walls, of course. And so I think this was a really cool idea here. I put the spice rack and the different utensils, and I think it looks so cool. And I think that's pretty typical or pretty practical, I guess. Yeah, practical for a tiny home. So I really like how that turned out. I'm just kind of proud of it. It was just an idea I had all of a sudden. So I thought that was pretty neat. But anyway. So yeah, I add that table too because I did want to use it. I just didn't use it as like what you would think. I kind of just used it for more storage or more like prep space. So that is in the corner there. I think I also add the Parenthood chalkboard on the other wall beside it, just so they can kind of write down their recipes and different things for the day or the week. Here I am spending some time cluttering up the kitchen and utilizing the space I can to add in items, just because in a tiny home you don't always have a lot of storage or a lot of space to have all your stuff. So I definitely have some clutter hanging out around there. And then we go ahead and move back into the living room. And at first I think I want to use these like hanging planters, and I really do like them. And I have used them in front of windows before. They look really nice, but I ended up just putting in some simple curtains. I figured whoever is going to be sleeping on the Murphy bed is going to want a little privacy with those big windows and at the front of the house. So I add that in. I do change the tiles in the kitchen just to give it a different look. And then I have my sim come in to pull down the Murphy bed so I can see kind of how it's gonna look with the living room and like make sure she can walk around it and such, or there'll be enough space. But basically then I start going back in build mode or buy mode, sorry, and it springs back up. So I guess that's just how it is. It's not too big of a deal, although I did kind of want to see how it was gonna look down. But I think most of the time it's going to be up, so it's probably better to go off of that. So I'm not really that upset, but I was just a little bit surprised, I guess. So yeah, I'm just putting in items I know I'm going to want. I definitely want to fit in that desk. I'm very happy that it's a one-tile desk. Those are so nice. This is probably the most popular style of furniture that we have in The Sims 4, I would say, just because we have it in the bowling stuff pack. We also have it in Get Famous. There was a big theme there. And then of course this stuff pack. So it is definitely a style that you can find a lot of pieces that go together very well. So it is kind of easy to style a home with this, just because so many items look so good together and they kind of match. So that's really, really nice. And like I said, I had a lot of fun building this home. However, it did take me a long time. As you can tell, this video is like almost 30 minutes long, and this is sped up a lot. So actually this probably took me almost 4 hours, if not more, which is not too big of a deal, but this is a tiny home. So, you know, bigger homes or mansions, or I can only imagine how long that would take. And like I said, I'm not like a very skilled builder. I'm not very practiced. So if I did it more often, I think it wouldn't take as long. But right now I am an amateur, and so it definitely took quite a while. But here in the build, I am just figuring out some of the last minute lighting, and here by the front door, I do swap out the wall light for a ceiling light, and I really like how it turns out actually. And then I put a thermostat kind of where that light is now. But yeah, it brings it all together. I think it's really, really cute. So now we move on to the bedroom, and this was definitely the hardest room for me to furnish. I really love this table. I think it's from the bowling pack. And I love this swatch so much, so I think I wanted to kind of form this whole room around the table and use those colors. That's kind of what I was trying to do, and I was definitely struggling with it quite a bit. Originally, I was going to make this for like a teenage girl, But yeah, none of the swatches were really matching with the table, and so I eventually had to scrap that idea and go for like more of a masculine look and do like a teenage boy room. I do like how it turns out for sure, but there was definitely a struggle to get there. I think when I add this paint to the wall, it really starts to come together. Also, I take the skateboard decor, I think it's either from Parenthood or Kids Room stuff, I can't remember, it might be from Parenthood. But once I get that out and I get the perfect swatch, things really start to come together, and that's when I definitely take it to a more masculine style. I really did want to use this TV that is like a 3-in-1 combo that came with the pack. It's a TV, bookshelf, and a stereo, but I do realize that it actually doesn't work with the gaming station in the game. So I decided to go and switch it up and actually put a TV on that little console in the middle of the room, and I put a gaming station below that. And I do end up putting the amps from a Moschino pack, so that is in there as well, although I don't think I put any bookshelf or bookends in the room, so there's no bookshelf in there, but I think there is definitely one in the living room, so that should be fine. But hopefully the Sim Gurus will fix that issue with the new TV, just so we can put that on there, because there's a perfect slot on there for like a gaming station or however, so I bet they'll fix that eventually. I am placing some posters down now. I do like a sports slash music theme. I do have the amps from Moschino and a guitar, so hopefully the sim can kind of practice the guitar skill, also the gaming skill, and then I do have I guess you can't. I should have put down a soccer ball, dang it, now that I'm thinking about it, because I think I wanted to actually. I do end up putting the sports clutter down, yeah, down there by the door, but I should have put a soccer ball, I meant to. But oh well, you can always add that in if you'd like. I definitely feel like the room has a little more personality now. I did put the guitar in front of the amps like you see, but I do have to switch it over. I think I put it on the other side of the dresser when I play test this, because for some reason he can't, or the sim can't dance with the music playing from, like the music will play, but they just can't dance, so I went ahead and moved that. So I finished off the room with just a little bit more clutter. I put some lights over here in the desk area, as well as some blinds, just so there's a little more privacy for the sim. And yeah, that's about wrapping it up for the interior. And then I do switch over to the outside of the house and I add quite a bit of landscaping. I also definitely go a little overboard on the backyard. I was not expecting to. I had originally just thought I would add a tiny little garden and then a little bit of a patio with like a grill and some seating. As you can see in the video, it just keeps expanding and getting crazier and crazier. I definitely do like how it turned out though, and it is pretty colorful, maybe even more colorful than the interior, honestly. Now, I'm not very good at landscaping, but I do love Strangerville, and I love all the cactuses or cacti, I guess you would say cacti, I'm not sure. But I do love that aesthetic, and so it was pretty fun to landscape with them. I just pretty much add them all over the yard. Oh, I did have to use Show Hidden Objects, that cheat, to unlock these. So if that's something you're wanting, you can always Google it. It is just, I actually forget the cheat now. I think it's just bb.showhiddenobjects. And I believe that's all you need to get these. I can't quite remember, but you can always Google it. And there's a lot of nice plants and trees and things that came with Strangerville. So that is something you definitely want to kind of take advantage of if you have Strangerville installed. I do try to keep the front of the house a little simpler. Of course, the area in front of the windows, I was expecting to do like a little flower bed, and I think it looks really nice. Or I guess not flower bed, but cactus bed. I don't know. I think it looks really nice though. I think I will go ahead and end the voiceover here just so you guys can enjoy the rest of the build. If you did like today's video or this build, don't forget to leave a like or a comment or subscribe. I definitely appreciate any of those. Also, if you want to download this build, my gallery ID is sweetTsimmer, so you can find me there. I'll definitely put all the information down below as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!